creepiest thing you've ever experienced? I moved into a cheap, rundown house on the edge of town and told myself that fixing a few things would be worth the price. It was quiet the first week, just the wind rattling old windows and mice scratching behind the walls. Then, about 2 weeks in, I started hearing the warped sound of static late at night, not on my radio, but whispering under my floorboards. At first, I blamed the old wiring. I'd been warned the place was built in the 1920s and barely updated since. But one night, I woke to a soft knock on the bedroom door at 3 in the morning. I froze, listening. The knock came again, slow and deliberate, like someone testing to see if I was awake. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. When I flicked on the light, no one was there. Just the door, slightly moved. I slammed it shut and shoved in a doorstop. The whispering crackle of static faded, but it never fully went away. Over the next few days, I found more odd signs. My toothbrush was moved. A pack of gum went missing. I chalked it up to me losing my mind under stress. Work was rough, and I was staying late at the lab every night. But the whispering in the walls grew louder each time I came home. I started carrying pepper spray. One evening, I noticed a tiny lens peeking out from the hole beneath my bedroom smoke detector. I mean a real camera lens, no bigger than a grain of rice. It was wired into the ceiling, facing my bed. I didn't scream. I didn't fall apart. I shut off every breaker in the house, descended the rickety stairs, and grabbed an old toolbox. I pried down the smoke detector and yanked the camera free. It still crackled with power. My hands shook as I pulled on the wires until they snapped. Then I climbed to the attic hatch and found a tangle of extension cords leading through the wall behind my closet. I followed them to a hidden panel behind a bookshelf, where I found a second camera and a battered recorder, blinking red with a tape inside. That's when I knew it wasn't my wiring. It was someone watching me, someone who knew when I slept, knew how I moved in my own home. My blood froze. I ripped the recorder and cameras into my jacket and drove straight to the nearest police station. I told them everything. The officer raised an eyebrow, but when I laid out the gear, his face went pale. He called it a voyeur kit, with remote feed capabilities. They dusted it for prints and video files. They tracked the feed to the landlord's office across town. Turns out he had a habit of renting out cheap rooms to students, then spying on them at night. He even targeted a neighbor last month, though she never realized but was too creeped out to stay. The cops raided his office that very night. I watched on my phone as they carried him out in handcuffs, his face as stunned as mine had been. But the real revenge came a week later. I uploaded the footage he'd recorded, every private moment, every stolen glance, onto a public forum for tenant rights. Within hours, dozens of his rental listings were taken down, his license revoked, and the city ordered him to pay damages. Headlines called him the tenant peeping Tom. He vanished from the rental scene for good and will spend years paying fines and legal fees. I live in a new place now, a small apartment with a landlord who actually shows up for repairs. At night, I sleep soundly. The only whisper I hear is the hum of the city outside and the memory of how I turned the hunter into the hunted.